he's really he's had a great tournament. He has progressed. You saw it through the tournament. He's won 4 matches. He won first round over Aaron Khalil 7-0, defeated Nico Trigas 11-5, then defeated Jermaine Hodge 4-1, who was the number 1 seed in the challenge bracket. Then he took out the number 2 seed in the challenge bracket, Max Nowery 2-2, to get to this point. So he's been tested. It's not like he just showed up and said, hey, I'm going to wrestle Mango. He has been tested. Toughest weight class here, in my opinion. And I'm excited to see what he has. Obviously Mango has been doing this for years. And this spotlight right here is nothing new to him. But Hazewinkel, he's been in 5 World Team Trials finals in freestyle and Greco, 6 if you count the Olympic trials. So it's not like the spotlight's new to him.
No, they both have competed on the highest levels, and not just domestically. Like you said, both Olympians. Unbelievable to think that, we've got these 2 guys going at it. But 59 was one of those weights when you saw it. With the elimination of 60 kilos, it created a perfect storm for this kind of drama. And
it essentially fused 2 weights into one.
Because all the 60 guys are going to cut that extra kilo by and large. And all the 55 guys don't have a choice but to wrestle 59, as it's now the lowest weight. So Hayes competed at 57 in freestyle just a couple weeks ago.
Lost in the finals to Tony Ramos a couple weeks ago in Madison. He actually is reversing roles. He sat out in the freestyle finals being the U.S. Open champion. Today he battled through the bracket to face a fresh Spenser Mango who hasn't wrestled all day. So let's see how that sort of changes things up a bit, if it does at all.
And if I'm Hazewinkel, I'm appreciative to have those matches, to have that, trying to re-hone my skills, to get the feel. Conditioning's not going to be a problem for a guy like Hazewinkel, who's, I'm not sure I've ever seen him wear out. He can always go hard. It's going to be getting those points and trying to open up a guy as solid as Spenser Mango.
And, interesting enough, in his interview after he won the challenge tournament, he said wrestling the freestyle has helped him out as far as changing levels and creating angles in Greco. So he thinks it's an added benefit, and he's wrestling a little bit different than these Greco guys are familiar with. So that plays to his advantage. He's also hit an arm spin in every match he's wrestled today.
And I'm telling you, I was match side for that one arm spin he hit on Hodge, and there was no indication it was even coming, and it was, boom, too late, 4, and that was really the match. Those were the only points he scored, and Hodge wasn't able to get anything going. So he's got that quick strike ability, as does Mango. And they're going to go passive on Mango here in the early going.
Passivity on Mango.
That's confirmed.
We would be remiss if we didn't mention Mango wrestled for a bronze medal at the World Championships last year at 55 kilos for the U.S. I mean, he had his best World Championship or Olympic performance last year when he lost early on in the tournament but was drawn back into the repechage, wrestled all the way back to the bronze medal bout and lost 4-3 in a crazy close match. So he's right there with the world's best as well.
Yep. And so now he's taking ground, and they're going to go passive on Hazewinkel. So both guys with a passivity warning. So the next one, the guy will have choice of position, and Mango's great on top.
Mango is great on top.
Probably going to be where he has a significant advantage over Hazewinkel.
The one thing about Hazewinkel is he's familiar with it. He's done it before. It's not like the other freestyle guys that have jumped over, where they're just not used to the difference in a guy that's strictly on top in Greco as opposed to a guy who goes from lace to gut.
Exactly.
But Hazewinkel going to get his shot right here on top as Mango gets that second passivity warning, gets a caution against him. Now Hazewinkel going to get to go to work. Let's see what he has.
And Hayes covers and jumped the gun just a little bit.
Yep, false start there on Hazewinkel. He's trying to get a little jump on Mango, trying to get that lock cinched up.
Looked like he was looking for the gut. Mango blocks there, yep. Now working around the head. The official's telling Mango to open up. Mango circling to the left there.
Yeah. Mango has to be careful of grabbing the wrist like that. He'll get hit with the caution.
Low gut here. Hazewinkel close. He's lifting. Gets him off the mat. Goes for it, but nothing doing. Unable to get that exposure. Working hard.
Hazewinkel needs to be careful there of Mango hopping over, similar to what Ed Ruth did to Keith Gavin in the finals.
Absolutely.
He was close there. If he could have had a hook on an elbow or head, possibly could have been some exposure there for Mango, but Hazewinkel did a good job of transitioning back to the top.
You can tell that was in the back of Mango's mind because he kind of reached back there when he saw that head, maybe looked to pull him through. So Hayes going to have to be careful if he gets another crack on top, but I think we'll probably see if nothing changes, both guys continue to work, Mango will get his turn probably too.
Yeah, agreed. And remember, Mango in the U.S. Open Finals wrestled Joe Betterman, and that was a 1-0 match. No one scored any offensive points in that match. Mango won because of the criteria on the cautions.
Yeah.
He scored one caution, and Betterman had 2 cautions, which gave up a point to Mango at the end of the match. So that was the difference in the match. So, he's used to these close-scoring matches, but these wrestlers don't want to leave it in the hands of the officials like that.
No, or criteria either.
Yeah,
so
they want to get out there. They want to be the one to score the takedown.
Absolutely. So it's scoreless after 1. Both guys will head back to their corner and get maybe some words of wisdom. Mango's going to have a seat, grab a sip of water.
Yeah, and I would say so far I like what I'm seeing. Living up to the bill at this point. Even though it's scoreless on the board, you can tell it's just high-level stuff all around. Great battling. Let's see what sort of adjustments are made on both sides. Hazewinkel said he's still a little bit raw. As far as the Greco is concerned, he feels a step behind. But I tell you what, if he's a step behind, I'd hate to have him on a day where he's fully on.
There's a front headlock there for Hazewinkel. Let's see if he can utilize it, execute with it here. Looking for maybe a head pinch, but Mango just kind of throws him off and ends up with the takedown there.
Yeah, now let's see what he has on top.
Mango's on top. He's lifting. Could be trouble here for Hazewinkel. And there we're going to see 4 confirmed. And going for it again.
Yeah, and that might be.
And what are we going to have? We're going to have 2 more red.
They're calling a leg foul on Hazewinkel is what they're saying.
So, Mango, quick striking. That could be the tech.
Yeah, they're probably going to throw the challenge brick here to contest that leg foul. Not sure what they actually saw there. Maybe a hook. As Mango was pulling him through. I wasn't looking completely at the legs, but nothing that was concerned. So, we're looking at either it's going to be a 9-0 victory for Spenser Mango or it will be 6-2. And we'll head back to the center.
And so it would be 2 points for Hayes?
It would. It would counter to the back. It would be 2 points. Unless they ruled that he maybe stepped out first, which that could also be a possibility.
So the refs will look it over, and we're looking at the screen here. We'll maybe have another look at it.
Yeah, we'll try to see this.
I'll try to let you know. So there's the 4, and that was clear. And Hayes reaches back. I'm not completely sure where he used the legs there.
Yeah, I didn't really see a leg foul, so let's get one more look at it.
So there's the 4.
Yeah, it looks like he just came across the face. They're saying no call on that.
So no
Are they going to give any?
So I think they just said 6-0. So it's 6-0.
I'm not. I think there should be some points on the board in that exchange.
He planted them because if he's.
It's either going to be 1 point for Mango for a step out or 2 points for Hayes.
But they're not going to throw up any.
Yeah, officials just white paddle that decision, and so 6-0 Mango.
So, Hayes, he's still got life. He's still got a shot here, but he's got to get going. And Mango showing why he's had this spot for so long, why he's so dangerous on top.
Yeah, and he's a small dude for this weight class, but he is strong.
Powerful.
He is built.
You could tell when he just kind of threw Hazewinkel off. Right. Hazewinkel just hit the deck.
Well, the thing is, a guy like Thielke, if he had wrestled Mango, there's a size difference.
Right.
But Hazewinkel is just as small, if not smaller. He's small for 57 in freestyle. Yeah. So
Hayes a little taller, but not as thick, not as compact as Mango.
Exactly.
And so far, we haven't seen Hayes able to open Mango up at all, and really it's been Mango kind of taking ground and controlling the positions pretty well. There's a 2-on-1 for Hazewinkel. And there he looks for maybe a high dive to a body lock there, but Mango able to counter. Hayes staying really active. There he locks up a head and arm, and we're going to see 2. But they blow him out of bounds before Mango gets to counter. Yeah, blew him
out of bounds, and then Mango planted him in the ground. Mango just gets up. He's smiling.
And, one thing, this is where, those Hayes getting no points there on that out of bounds really looms large because he's still down by 4. He could be potentially within 2.
He still has half a period to work.
Yeah, he's got 90 seconds to work.
He does have that 4-point arm spin that we've seen in every match
in
the arsenal. So let's see if he can get to that position. Mango definitely going to be hard to score on, though. He's great position-wise.
And there he goes to that body lock, but man, Mango just throws him by for 2, extending his lead to 8-2. And Mango's gonna lift, looking big. And what are we gonna see? 4. And that should be the match, 12-2.
It's actually gonna get awarded a 5 on that, so 13-2 gonna be your final score.
13-2, an exclamation point for Spenser Mango, and he's gonna blow this one wide open. That was scoreless at halftime, right, Richard?